And hello, everyone. Welcome to Wrestling Territories Podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Bunkhouse Stampede. We're going to go back a little bit in time to 1985, where it all began, for the NWA at least. And then we're going to go into the pay per view that was not all that good. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the best in the world. Like a come as you are, dress as you want, street fight. In other words, it was Dusty Rhodes winning every single year. And basically what it was, it just it was like a street fight, but a street fight that was in the ring that you had to eliminate in a battle royal form. I guess is the best way to describe it for people who've never seen it. So as a concept, and I got this from Grok from X. Bunkhouse was designed as a unique battle royal where wrestlers competed in bunkhouse gear, blue jeans, cowboy boots, etc. Similar to a street fight matches, weapons were allowed, which often led to bloody matches. The objective was to be the last wrestler standing in the ring after throwing all the others over the top rope. And of course, the event of 1988 was a pay per view, and the pay per view it was the first pay per view I'd ever seen. And because where I lived in like a rural area, we didn't have uh, we didn't have pay per views yet, so we had to go to the city area where I had my aunt and uncle who lived, and they're the ones that got the pay per view for. So that's the first pay per view I ever watched live and whatever, live in colors, Dusty would say. And I remember it very well. There was one match that happened in that event that did not get aired, and it's not on the Peacock network either. And it was scheduled to be the Rock and Roll Express versus the Sheep Herders. The Rock and Roll Express had just left like just days or a few days before the Stampede happened on pay per view. So it was Sting and Jimmy Garvin that defeated the Sheep Herders. That match did happen, but it didn't show on the pay per view. So I never saw it when we were watching it years ago, and it's not on the Peacock. So none of that was aired at all. They didn't apparently record it. So um, Dusty Rhodes would win all the bunkhouses, and basically what happened was, um, and I don't really know much about 1986 version from 85 to 86. That one, so they usually would run from December, right after Starcade. It would run in December of that year until January, towards the end of January. And so I don't know about much about the 85 to 86 one, but the 86 to 87, it ended up being a match that was not aired that I can find. I've seen clips of it, but I don't know if you can find the full match. Maybe it's on the Peacock. I'd have to really take a look and see. But it happened in Philadelphia. It's between Dusty Rhodes and Big Bubba. And basically, what happened was they both won the exact same amount of bunkhouse matches. So they ended up putting them in a steel cage. Dusty ended up winning it and took that big boot, as you can see right here in this picture. That's what they won every year. So the big boot would be the thing that Dusty Rhodes and would win. He was the only one that ever won it. In a way, you could see him being the one that won it because he was just so over with the fans and stuff. But I mean, they could have given it to other people as well. I'm thinking of like maybe one of the Road Warriors, or I don't know, anybody. Yeah, yeah, anybody else but Dusty 3 times in a row. But Dusty was, like I said, the holder of it, three championships, bunkhouse championships. But the finals in the bunkhouse stampede um, was that Tully Blanchard. There was let's see, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Lex Luger, Barbarian, Ivan Koloff, um, Road Warrior Animal. If I didn't say that, so those were the ones that made it to the end of the to the pay per view in '88, with Dusty knocking Barbarian out of that match, and so Dusty Rhodes would win it, boot again. But there's other matches on that card that night that were pretty good actually. It was Western States Heritage Championship between Barry Windham and Lex Luger. Uh, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, not Lex Luger. Barry Windham and uh, Larry Sabisco. Like, I don't know, brain fart there. It was Barry Windham and Larry Sabisco for the Western States Championship. And that one's where Larry Sabisco won. He had the help of Baby Doll, used a shoe and knocked out Barry Windham and became the Western States champion. Nikita Koloff defended his TV title against Bobby Eaton of the Midnight Express. He won that match, kept the title. He was attacked by both Stan and Bobby at the end of it, but he kept the title. If you look at the Peacock Network, all these matches are in full for exception of one. It's Road Warrior Hawk versus Ric Flair. It kind of comes in just after the introductions and the match gets started for a little bit. Then you see it. So somewhere there was some technical difficulties, and so you don't get the entire complete match with introductions. But anyway, it's that's where that ends up being. It's kind of like part of the way through there. And then you have the Bunkhouse Stampede. And of course, Ric Flair keeps his title, by the way. But you have the Bunkhouse Stampede in the main event to put the cage up. So it's basically instead of like the ordinary Bunkhouse Stampedes where there was no cages, it ended up being the fact that they put a cage around this main event, and you had to either throw them through the door or over the top of the cage. And this pay per view is also going against Royal Rumble, which was free on TV, and I think it was USA was carrying it. So the buy rates, according to what I've been reading, was not very good at all. The Bunkhouse Stampede overall is a unique concept, and I really like the concept of the Bunkhouse Stampede. I think it's really cool, and it'd be good to see the NWA bring it back, or WWE, or somebody try to, or maybe AEW, somebody bring back the Bunkhouse Stampede. It's a really cool concept. It's a real good idea, and have series of matches, and then maybe have about 8 or so of them compete for a championship, maybe a shot at a championship or something like that. But it's an interesting concept that they came up with years ago, and I'm not sure if it's completely a Dusty Rhodes thing. I think Nelson Roll and so there was several people had a hand on this, but yeah, so Come As You Are Battle Royal. All the people are in the ring at the same time, so it's not like the Royal Rumble where they have them come out, one at a time. So they're all in the ring at the same time. And yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's a pretty cool concept. I think you could pull it off, maybe not in a pay per view form, but you could have like a special one off or something and do a bunkhouse championship. And like I say, the NWA does it or something like that. They could, the winner gets a shot at the NWA World Championship or AEW or whatever, whatever organization wants to do it. The Bunkhouse Stampede, like I said, was not a bad concept. It just wasn't the best idea to put it on pay per view against the Royal Rumble. And since the Royal Rumble was free too, it might have drew a little more interest if that not have happened. But there was so much competition between Crockett and McMahon that they didn't care to like screw each other over as much as they possibly could. But again, comment below and let me know what you think. The bunkhouse, like I said, it was a good concept. It's a good idea. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in a podcast talking about it, but if you want to comment and want me to do more of this, bunkhouse and Peter talk more about it more in depth, I can do that. I'll do more research and find some of the older stuff that happened. But anyway, again, it was whoever won the most bunkhouses at the end was the champion, except for in '88 when they put all the winners of each of the bunkhouses in a cage match against each other. So, but anyway, like I say, pretty cool concept. Maybe somebody will pick it back up again, and it'd be nice to see. Until next time, God bless. See you soon.